My name is Avery Collins. I'm 31 years old, and the first time I realized my relationship had become a performance, it happened through a donation receipt that I never authorized. The email arrived at 6:12 a.m., the kind of time that makes everything feel more serious. The subject line was cheerful and confident, full of exclamation marks and gratitude. Thank you for your generous gift. Below that, a clean logo and a number that made my stomach drop. $50,000. A large gift to a local nonprofit that funds pediatric heart screenings, a cause I actually care about, a cause I had volunteered for once in grad school, a cause my boyfriend Grant had started mentioning in conversations lately, like he had always cared. The receipt included my full name, my address, and a note field that read like a speech. In honor of Grant Mason, whose vision inspires us all. In honor of him. From my account. I sat up in bed and checked my banking app before my brain could invent a comforting explanation. I searched the last 24 hours. There it was, posted as pending at 2:47 a.m., a debit card transaction, a payment processor name I recognized from online giving platforms, $50,000, the same amount as the receipt. My pulse climbed into my throat. The room felt smaller. My phone screen felt too bright. My hands started shaking in a way that made me angry because shaking looks like weakness, and I wasn't weak. I was just waking up to something real. I scrolled further and saw another pending transaction. $7,500. A second donation. Different nonprofit, different cause, same pattern. A note field again. In honor of Grant Mason, community leader. Community leader. Grant worked in marketing at a mid-sized company. He liked telling people he was building a platform. He liked the word leader because it creates distance between him and regular responsibility. I stared at the two pending charges and felt the betrayal land in layers. First, financial violation. Second, identity theft. Third, a public narrative built on my money. Grant hadn't taken cash from my wallet. Grant had taken my name, my reputation, and my bank account and turned them into an image he could wear. I slid out of bed and stood barefoot on the cold floor until my breathing slowed. My first impulse was to call him. My second impulse was to scream. My third impulse was the one that saved me. I documented. Screenshots of the receipts, screenshots of the pending charges, screenshots of the donation pages, including the honor of text, screenshots of the timestamps. Then I opened my email and searched for other messages from donation platforms. There were more. $1,000 last month, $2,500 the month before, $5,000 3 months ago, all in my name, all with notes referencing him. He hadn't started with 50,000. He had warmed up. He had tested the boundaries of my attention the way a thief tests a door. I felt sick. Then I felt something else. Clarity. Grant wasn't only betraying me financially. Grant was betraying my consent. I live in Atlanta. I work as a project manager for a tech company, and my job is basically controlled chaos. I'm good at it because I'm good at systems. I like clarity. I like receipts. I like understanding how a small decision becomes a big outcome. Grant liked vibes. Grant liked being seen. Grant liked telling stories in rooms full of people who didn't verify details. We met at a friend's rooftop birthday party 2 years earlier. Grant was the guy who floated through groups and made everyone laugh without ever revealing anything too real. He made a point of finding me in the crowd. He complimented my laugh. He complimented my ambition. He used the kind of attention that feels special when you're tired. At the time, I was tired. I had just finished a long project that destroyed my sleep. I wanted softness. I wanted someone who felt easy. Grant felt easy. He moved into my life quickly, with clothes in my closet and groceries in my fridge, and his name on deliveries. He called it building a home. It sounded romantic. It also sounded like commitment without paperwork, which is how some people secure benefits without accountability. I didn't notice how much he used my stability as a platform. When he forgot his wallet at restaurants, I paid and he promised to Venmo later. Sometimes he did. Sometimes he didn't. He always had a story about a delayed paycheck or a card issue or a fraud alert. Fraud alert. That phrase becomes funny when you realize who the fraud is. When he was between jobs for a month, I covered rent without question. When he wanted to invest in his personal brand, I helped him buy a camera and lighting equipment. When he wanted to attend a leadership conference, I paid the registration fee and justified it as supporting his growth. I framed my support as partnership. I didn't recognize the pattern. He liked the parts of me that were useful. He liked my competence. He liked my planning. He liked my money, quietly, without gratitude. Most of all, he liked what my life made him look like. A man dating a woman with her life together looks better than a man still figuring himself out. Grant's mother loved me immediately, not because she knew me, because she recognized what I represented: stability. She hugged me at Thanksgiving and introduced me to relatives as our future daughter-in-law, while Grant smiled like he had already won something. I didn't correct her because I didn't want to create tension. I didn't know tension was a tool that protects you. At 6:43 a.m., I walked into the living room and saw Grant asleep on my couch, one arm hanging down like he owned the place. He had stayed over last night after a late work brainstorm, which apparently required whiskey and an expensive takeout order delivered to my address. I looked at his sleeping face and felt a strange distance. My mind was already in action. I sat at my kitchen table and called my bank's fraud department. Verification questions, hold music, a calm voice. I didn't narrate my feelings. I narrated facts: unauthorized debit card transactions, multiple charges, pending status, donation processors, my name used without consent. The representative placed a freeze on my debit card immediately. New card issued, dispute case opened, temporary credit possible after investigation, additional security set. Then I placed a fraud alert with the credit bureaus and requested a credit freeze. Not because I had evidence of credit theft yet, but because I had evidence of entitlement. Entitlement escalates. Next, I contacted the nonprofits. This part felt complicated emotionally because the causes were real. Kids were real, families were real, the work mattered. Grant had chosen charities that would make him look noble. He had also chosen charities that would make me hesitate. If I fought it, I could look like the villain. That was the trick. I refused to be trapped by optics. I contacted the first nonprofit's donor services line and provided the donation ID from the receipt. I explained the payment was unauthorized and part of a fraud case. I requested immediate cancellation and refund. The representative responded with polite surprise and requested documentation. I forwarded the fraud claim number from my bank and a copy of my ID. Then I repeated the process for the second nonprofit. Then I repeated it for the older, smaller donations I discovered. A pattern emerged. Each donation was submitted through the same device fingerprint. Each used my email. Each used my saved payment method. Each included a note praising Grant. The nonprofits cooperated quickly once they understood the situation. No one wants to keep stolen money. Still, the representative's voice carried a small disappointment, and it pierced me even though it wasn't directed at me. I hate feeling like I'm taking something away, even when it was never willingly given. Then I remembered the truth. This wasn't generosity. This was theft wrapped in virtue. At 7:30 a.m., Grant walked into the kitchen rubbing his eyes like he woke up in a normal life. "Coffee," he murmured. I stared at him and felt my calm sharpen. I placed my phone on the table with the donation receipt open. Grant's eyes focused. His face shifted. A flicker of confusion, then recognition, then a quick attempt to settle into charm. "Oh, that," he noted, voice light. "I planned a surprise." Surprise? The word tasted bitter. A surprise is flowers. A surprise is concert tickets. A surprise is breakfast in bed. A surprise is not pulling $50,000 from my account at 2:47 a.m. I kept my voice level. "My bank opened a fraud case," I noted. "These transactions are unauthorized." Grant's expression tightened. Unauthorized is dramatic, he pushed out. We're a team. Team. He tried to turn theft into partnership language. I didn't move. This came from my debit card, I noted. My name. My email. Without permission. Grant exhaled slowly and leaned against the counter like he was preparing a speech. I wanted to do something meaningful, he pressed. The kids, the community, the impact. You always say money should have purpose. Purpose. He had found my values and used them as camouflage. I felt heat rise behind my eyes, but my voice stayed steady. Money should have consent, I noted. Grant's face hardened slightly. I was going to pay it back, he pressed. I have a bonus coming. Bonus? He had promised future money before. Future money never arrived. The promise always moved. I looked at him and felt a clean disgust. You used my name to honor yourself, I noted. Grant blinked, then tried offense. That's not fair, he pressed. I put your name because we're together. Together. He tried to merge identities to blur boundaries. My boundaries existed, and he had crossed them deliberately. The notes mention you, I noted. Not us. You. Grant's jaw tightened. His voice dropped into a tone that sounded impatient. You're missing the point. This makes us look good. Look good. There it was. Not helping kids, not supporting causes. Looking good. I sat back and felt something inside me settle into certainty. This is over, I noted. Grant froze. What? The word came out sharp. My apartment, my accounts, my name. You stole all of it, I noted. You leave today. Grant's eyes widened, then narrowed. You're overreacting. Overreacting is a predictable response from people who rely on your tolerance. I stood up and walked to the hallway closet where I kept a folder of important documents. Lease, utility accounts, receipts. I never toss papers that might matter. I pulled out my lease and opened the page with my signature. Grant's name wasn't there. I returned to the kitchen and placed the lease on the table. You are not on my lease, I noted. Grant's nostrils flared. I live here, he pushed out. You sleep here, I noted. You don't live here. Grant's face shifted into anger, the charm evaporating. Fine, he pressed. You want to be heartless? Be heartless. Those kids are going to lose the money and it's on you. There was the final weapon. Guilt. He tried to make me responsible for consequences created by his theft. I felt my voice go colder. Those kids deserve honest donations, I noted. Not stolen money used for your image. Grant stared at me, then grabbed his phone off the counter and started typing aggressively. He was texting someone, probably his mother, probably a friend, probably an audience. Grant never moved without a narrative. I didn't care. I contacted building security and requested an escort for an unwanted visitor. It was my building. I had a relationship with the front desk. I didn't need drama in my hallway. Grant laughed once, a sharp sound. You're serious, he pushed out. Yes, I noted. Security arrived 15 minutes later. Grant collected his backpack and his jacket and the camera equipment I had bought him. He didn't apologize. He didn't look ashamed. He looked angry that I had removed his access. He walked out of my apartment with security beside him like he was a problem to manage. That was accurate. Within hours, the story reached the internet. Grant posted a photo of himself in a blazer, standing in front of a nonprofit's logo wall. The caption framed him as a giver, a leader, a man committed to impact. The post didn't mention my name, but it didn't need to. The donation receipts already did. His friends commented hearts and applause. A local community page shared his post. A small influencer reposted it, praising his generous spirit. My stomach turned. He had created a halo out of my stolen money, and people were cheering. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was public. Then I received an email from the nonprofit's development director. A polite inquiry. They had seen social media. They were confused because the donation was under dispute. They wanted clarity. Clarity. I respect clarity. I responded with a calm email. attaching my fraud claim number, the unauthorized transaction evidence, and screenshots of Grant's post. I explained I had not authorized any donation and had no connection to any honor narrative, and I requested that the nonprofit publicly correct any association if necessary. The development director responded quickly and apologized. They promised a private internal note and confirmed the donation would be reversed once the bank processed. They also requested that Grant refrain from misrepresenting the nonprofit. I smiled once, small and cold. Nonprofits don't like being used as props. The next betrayal came from an unexpected place. My sister Hannah called me that afternoon. I expected comfort. I received pressure. Grant's mom called me, Hannah noted. She's upset. She claims you misunderstood. She claims you're trying to ruin his reputation. Ruin his reputation. I felt my jaw tighten. He ruined it, I noted. Hannah sighed. Avery, I get it, but those charities are important. 50,000 is a lot. People will look at you badly. There it was. Optics. Even my sister wanted me to play nice for public perception. My voice stayed level. People can look at me however they want, I noted. He stole from me. Hannah paused. He was trying to do something good. Good. The word used as a mask again. I inhaled slowly. Good intentions don't exist inside fraud, I noted. Hannah fell quiet, then offered a weaker version of support. Just be careful. This could get messy. Messy. I had already been living in messy. I just hadn't known it. I ended the call and felt a sharp loneliness. Betrayal spreads. It rarely stays contained to the person who commits it. It infects the people who want peace more than truth. I chose truth anyway. The bank investigation moved faster than I expected. Because the charges were pending, the bank could block final settlement on some. Others cleared quickly and required dispute processing. I provided a timeline. I provided screenshots. I provided proof of my location at 2:47 a.m. I provided proof of Grant's access to my apartment and devices. I also checked my laptop's browser history. Grant used my laptop before, just to check email, just to order something, just to do a quick thing. Quick things add up. In the saved password section, I found his presence. Donation platform login saved under my email. Grant created an account in my name. He linked my debit card. He stored my information. He had the audacity to build an entire donor profile like I was a tool. I exported the evidence and saved it to my drive. Then I changed my entire digital life. New passwords, two-factor authentication, new recovery emails, new security questions. I set my questions to answers that made no sense to anyone else. First pet, Saturn. Street name, Paperclip. Mother's maiden, Lantern. Because security is only as strong as the people who feel entitled to you. 2 weeks later, the nonprofits processed the refunds. The bank credited my account provisionally while the investigation continued. I watched the numbers return like oxygen. 50,000 back, 7,500 back, smaller amounts back. Still, the feeling didn't resolve into relief. The money returning didn't undo the violation. Grant used me. Grant tried to turn my identity into his brand. Grant had been comfortable stealing because he believed I wouldn't make it public. He believed I would protect him from consequences. That belief was his biggest mistake. The confrontation shifted into the legal realm when I received a letter. Grant's attorney. A firm name I didn't recognize. A demand. They claimed the donations were joint decisions, made within a shared domestic partnership, and that my disputes constituted defamation and interference with philanthropic relationships. Philanthropic relationships. I laughed once. Grant had hired an attorney to protect his image. The letter requested that I retract statements to the nonprofits and that I reimburse Grant for damages to his reputation. Reimburse. He stole from me, then demanded payment for the fallout. I forwarded the letter to a lawyer my coworker Leah recommended. Leah dealt with an ex who loved threatening paperwork. The lawyer, Monica, reviewed everything and responded within a day. Monica's tone was calm and precise. Unauthorized transactions are fraud. Misrepresentation to nonprofits is misconduct. Demand letters do not replace evidence. Further contact will be considered harassment. Monica also advised a police report to strengthen the paper trail, not because police love financial disputes, but because formal documentation matters when someone tries to rewrite the narrative. I filed the report, case number, statement, evidence attachments. I felt a strange satisfaction, not revenge, protection. Grant tried a new tactic when legal threats failed. He came to my job, not inside, outside, waiting near the entrance like a dramatic scene he imagined would soften me. I saw him through the glass doors and felt my stomach tighten, then settle. He held a small envelope. He looked like someone trying to appear sincere. I didn't approach. I informed security at my office building and requested that he be removed. Grant raised his hands like he was wounded. He left, but not before staring at me through the glass like I had betrayed him. His eyes were furious. Fury from entitlement looks like heartbreak to people who don't know the difference. A month later, I learned the part Grant hadn't planned for. Nonprofits talk to each other. The development director from the pediatric screening nonprofit contacted me again, this time with an update. Grant approached them requesting recognition for his donation. Grant requested a photo with a ceremonial check. Grant requested a speaking slot at an upcoming gala. The nonprofit declined and informed him the donation was reversed due to fraud. Grant responded angrily and attempted to blame me. The development director's message was careful, professional, and quietly revealing. They reviewed Grant's previous engagement. It was minimal. They reviewed his story. It didn't match internal records. They decided to flag his name. Flag. The word made me feel lighter. A man who uses charity as a costume eventually gets caught by the people who live the mission. Then I heard another update through a mutual acquaintance. Grant's company placed him on administrative leave, not for the donation itself, but for the social media fallout and the attorney letter that leaked through a friend who forwarded it too widely. Grant built a brand. Brands collapse when receipts appear. I expected to feel victorious. I didn't. I felt tired. I felt older. I felt as if I had been living in a story where I was the responsible one. And suddenly I understood that responsibility can be exploited. I started therapy again because my nervous system didn't trust calm anymore. Every notification made my chest tighten. Every unknown number felt like an attack. Therapy helped me name the pattern. Grant wasn't a sudden villain. Grant was a slow erosion. Small boundaries crossed, small debts created, small lies normalized. Then a major theft packaged as virtue. My therapist helped me understand that the biggest betrayal wasn't only the donation. It was the way I had been trained to excuse discomfort to keep peace. I stopped excusing. 3 months after the fraudulent donations, I attended an event for a different nonprofit, one I had supported quietly for years, one that didn't need applause. I didn't post about it. I didn't take photos in front of logos. I donated a smaller amount, one that made sense, one that didn't destabilize my life, one that I chose. Choice matters. During the event, I listened to a parent describe how a small grant had changed their child's access to care. I felt tears rise, not from guilt, but from truth. This is what giving is. Not a costume, not a weapon, not a branding strategy, a decision. A consented transfer of resources to serve real people. Grant turned giving into theft. I refused to let him poison the concept. 6 months later, my bank closed the fraud case. The decision was clear. Unauthorized transactions confirmed. The disputes were upheld. The provisional credits became permanent. The bank representative's final note included a phrase that stayed with me. Account compromise due to known associate. Known associate. The polite version of betrayal. I framed the letter in my mind as a certificate of my own sanity. Because people like Grant rely on a certain fear. They rely on your fear of being dramatic. They rely on your fear of looking selfish. They rely on your fear of being the woman who ruined a good man. The bank didn't care about my gender. The bank cared about evidence. Evidence supported me. A year after the donation receipt hit my inbox, I moved to a new apartment. Same city, different neighborhood, more light, more quiet. I didn't move because I feared Grant. I moved because I wanted a physical marker of a new chapter. I bought new furniture slowly, choosing pieces that felt like me. I filled my kitchen with ingredients Grant never liked. I adopted a small routine of Sunday morning walks that didn't require anyone else's approval. I rebuilt trust in my own instincts. That was the real recovery. Not the money, not the legal letters. Instinct, the ability to notice a small discomfort and treat it as information, not as something to swallow. I'm 31. I'm an American woman. And the day my name appeared on a $50,000 donation I didn't authorize, I learned the difference between generosity and exploitation. One is a gift. The other is theft wearing a halo. I learned to treat public praise like a warning label. If someone needs applause to do good, the good is not the point. If someone needs my name to look noble, my name becomes a tool. If someone needs my money to feel important, the importance is fake. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as cheating. Sometimes betrayal arrives as a receipt. I learned to treat public praise like a warning label. If someone needs applause to do good, the good is not the point. If someone needs my name to look noble, my name becomes a tool. If someone needs my money to feel important, the importance is fake. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as cheating. Sometimes betrayal arrives as a receipt. I learned to treat public praise like a warning label. If someone needs applause to do good, the good is not the point. If someone needs my name to look noble, my name becomes a tool. If someone needs my money to feel important, the importance is fake. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as cheating. Sometimes betrayal arrives as a receipt. I learned to treat public praise like a warning label. If someone needs applause to do good, the good is not the point. If someone needs my name to look noble, my name becomes a tool. If someone needs my money to feel important, the importance is fake. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as cheating. Sometimes betrayal arrives as a receipt. I learned to treat public praise like a warning label. If someone needs applause to do good, the good is not the point. If someone needs my name to look noble, my name becomes a tool. If someone needs my money to feel important, the importance is fake. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as cheating. Sometimes betrayal arrives as a receipt. I learned to treat public praise like a warning label. If someone needs applause to do good, the good is not the point. If someone needs my name to look noble, my name becomes a tool. If someone needs my money to feel important, the importance is fake. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as cheating. Sometimes betrayal arrives as a receipt. I learned to treat public praise like a warning label. If someone needs applause to do good, the good is not the point. If someone needs my name to look noble, my name becomes a tool. If someone needs my money to feel important, the importance is fake. Betrayal doesn't always arrive as cheating. Sometimes betrayal arrives as a receipt.